Hi guys, welcome to So You Want to Get Married. So You Want to Get Married is table talk where we talk about anything and everything to do with dating, love, relationships, marriage, the whole shebang. Today we have a bevy of beautiful guests. We have got Ann, she's a marketing consultant. We have got Chibuzor, he's a businessman. And we've got the lovely Bunmi, professional dancer and choreographer. How are you guys doing?
Great. Fantastic.
Thank you for coming on the show. Good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Now, today's topic is how do you date after 30? So once you reach the ripe old age of 30 years old, how do you change your dating game or do you do anything different? So basically we're all in our 30s and these three are not married. So now I have to, let's start with the lovely gentleman, right? Chibuzor. Is there a difference between how you date now or how you approach women now compared to when you were still in your 20s?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain a little bit?
Okay, when I was in my 20s,
Yeah.
then when you meet a lady, a girl, there's always something in your mind like, oh, sex, oh, she's cute, or you want to just dive in, like, oh, curve. You know, you look at the woman booty, everything,
Oh,
the
okay,
arsenal,
booty,
and,
okay. So it's more about the outer appearance,
yeah.
okay?
But when you get to that age, 30, like you start asking yourself, I'm not getting any younger though. Yeah, I'm still cute, I'm hardworking, I have money, I have this. But you start thinking like, oh, when will I start having kids? You know, you're 30 and you're asking yourself, some of your mates, somehow down the line of 20, maybe 8 or 5 or something like that, they had 1, 2 kids.
Okay.
And sometimes when you want to go out with some of those your guys, and you find out, yeah, how old is this child? My child is 7. 7, okay. Then you start telling yourself, you have to change your approach when the ladies are, and you start asking questions like, oh, what do you do? You know, ask you as the guy, you ask, what do you do for a living? That's when you know that you have to actually change it because 30 is like some few years down the line, you're 50.
Okay, that's just really depressing.
That's not that old.
So, Anne, what do you think?
30 and over, you date differently, you approach men in our case differently because you're now thinking a bit about, okay, it's not just playtime. I think in your 20s you're like, oh, it's fine, I can just date.
Yeah.
But now you're looking for who is that person that's actually I can introduce to my family or, has the right future that we can be together, those sorts of things that you don't think about in your 20s as much. Okay. But there's still fun to be had in our 30s. Definitely.
I mean, going with what she said, even conversation, you really need to be with someone you can have sensible conversation with at that age, not in your 20s when the most important things were, the party you're going to next and stuff like that. So it's really all of that mature thingy, with the guy, with you, with life, the changes even you have gone through in your life, the things you're doing, your career, just general stuff like things that are general for us now.
Yeah, exactly. So how would you approach what type of person would you approach? So in your particular instance, would you start thinking about the job the woman has? Would the lady start thinking about, okay, the criteria? I mean, I know that once you get to a certain age, you're not as picky. Like you be 21 say, he has to be this height, he has to be this build, he has to be whatever. But now, does it get to a point where because you're looking for a life partner and you're older and wiser, you're thinking, he needs to have this job, he needs to have this house, he needs to have certain things together. Is that a criteria that you guys would need with that person? Okay.
I think criteria. Sorry.
No,
criteria changes.
Okay.
But you also, not to say settle, but you also change maybe the priorities in your criteria.
Okay.
Before, it has to be tall, it has to be this, that. But now it's more about, okay, can we have a conversation? Can we actually, is there like a connection?
Yeah.
You look for more, I guess, I hate to say deeper things. Of course, you still want it to look a certain way. But it's not as important anymore. I think it's one of those things, there's some girls, some friends of mine that had a list when they're 20 of what they're looking for. Right, but that list I think changes from what was number 1 then and what's number 1 now.
It's completely different.
Add different things, yeah. So you still have.
No, but it's the same thing, For the guys, sometimes you have to ask yourself.
Okay, I have to put a question. This is mainly directed at the ladies. Do you feel that you are perceived differently or people treat you differently because you're in your 30s and you're not married, especially in our society in Nigeria?
Yes.
Where the age factor is like, if you're not married by a certain age,
You're just
it's a
old.
big deal, right?
Yes, I even
So-
spoke to some young school children last week, and they were just like, all they concentrate on talking to them about career. I'm like, so how old are you? So why aren't you married? So you don't want to be married?
And they're like
and they
school
would not,
kids.
yes, school
Yeah.
kids in 18, 19, and they would not stop focusing on it. And it was very sweet, of course, but I gave them advice.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they would tell their parents. But I said, everyone can marry at different ages. I have friends that married in their 20s. I have 30-something-year-old friends who are single, 40-something-year-old friends that are single. I think you have to be able to understand that your life is not everybody's life. If you're not married at 30, your life is not over.
Exactly.
Your life is not
exactly.
defined by marriage. I mean,
Yeah.
I just recently
That's
realized
it.
that maybe I'm actually, it's just now that I'm sincerely ready, because at a certain age you do want to be married for all the wrong reasons. You know, so now I'm comfortable with myself, with my career. Now I can share my life with someone. I probably would have been extremely selfish.
See, that's a very
you know,
good thing to admit to yourself
Yeah.
as well, you know?
I probably would have been very selfish, emotional and full of hormones and complaining all the time. But now I think that, okay, I can really settle down and
Yeah.
work towards that. Because, if I got married, imagine if we were married like at 20 or 21 or 22,
Yeah.
because I had people in my class who were married at 23, they had their first child at 24. Yeah, and I see them now and I just feel like they haven't done much because instantly you dive into motherhood. Not saying it doesn't work for people.
Because it works for some,
Yeah,
but
it
not
works for
necessarily,
some.
yeah.
But for me, so I don't really care what people say. I mean, I'm over it.
Okay.
What people say about
And
your
think,
age and
yeah.
this, and I'm like, do I even really look my age?
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
So
It is what it is. But Chibuzor, on the flip side,
Yeah.
as a man in his 30s, would you want to marry a woman in her 30s? Because I find this with a lot of guys, especially if they're like mid to late 30s. They're like, and I'm like, oh, I've got this friend, she's 36, you guys are the same age. And he's like, what am I going to do with a 36-year-old? And why do they say that? Because for me, I just think, I don't understand, but you're the same age. And he's like, no, he wants to meet one 28-year-old girl. So are you of that thought, or what do you think about that kind of statement?
Okay. Wow. Seriously, this is an ambush, right?
Yeah, we're listening.
Okay,
We're
Sorry.
let me put it like this. It varies. It's not all guys that will think that way.
Okay.
Some guys are comfortable when the lady is more mature. Because sometimes you look at, would a 22 or 23 or 26 years old girl tell me? You accept maybe she's matured in her mind. Sometimes you don't know, you will not tell yourself, okay, I'll sit down.
Yeah.
Okay, 30, let's just put it like 32, 33 years old girl will sit down with me, and 3 years old lady, let me put it like that, because they will not like to classify themselves as girls at that age. Okay.
Still a girl. Sorry.
So that age, you want to actually listen. It varies. The guys want to listen to a more matured lady. Some guys want to listen to not really that mature. They want that, sit down here and
They want to be
sit
able
down.
to mold them,
Yeah,
perhaps.
because sometimes you feel like you can't actually mold a 30-year-old lady. Never. You feel like, oh no, if I tell her go, she's like, no, I'm making my money. You don't tell me to go.
She's
you
set in
go.
her own ways.
In our own ways. But when you talk to somebody like a 22 or 26-year-old girl, sit down. You're cool in your own way. You
I
have
think
your own.
that kind of, sorry to cut you, works with women as well, because I have a couple of friends who, there's some people who like older men, and there's some people who have decided, I'm tired, I will go with someone younger.
Yeah.
That happens as well.
Definitely.
Because there might be a guy that's just 31, 32, and you're 35, 36, and might actually be more mature than the 40-year-old you just
Yeah,
dated.
true.
We get that sometimes. So I think it's the same for guys and girls. It's really preference. What you like. If you're the type that likes younger girls, if you're the type that's looking for a mature woman.
Yeah.
But the fear, let me put it again, the fear at that age, sometimes the guy looks at it like, sorry, I'm not condemning anybody right now, but the fear is like, be honest, can you give me a child?
Is that what it is?
Sometimes.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Sometimes.
Oh.
Can you do this? Yeah.
So they think that,
Can
okay,
you
she gets to a certain age.
Age and,
At
guys
30,
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
above that age.
Okay.
Like when you're talking about, she talked about like 36, 37, and
yeah.
they're like, I'm afraid. But sometimes it takes faith. Yeah, sometimes
It takes faith, and it also takes a conversation with. If you really like that person, it takes having a conversation with that person because you don't know the steps that they. A woman is not stupid. You do not know the steps she may have taken herself. You know, she's. I mean, if she wants children, she may have taken certain steps so that if she is older, she's still able to have children.
But I believe in the fact of. That the two of you can actually bond. That's the major key. At 30, you have to bond.
Yeah.
At 20-something, you don't need to bond. Because at 20-something, you're wasting your time with the person. But at 30,
bonding comes.
Yeah. At 30, you have to
Unless
bond.
there's a maturity level where
There's
you
the
guys.
maturity
But
level.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Obviously, all these topics we could go on and on for ages, but we've actually run out of time. So it's time for our question of the day, which is. Let me grab my phone. And the question of the day is usually completely unrelated to what we're talking about. It's from our Facebook page, So You Want Marry. Okay, so the question of the day is, will you marry a man who is good to you, who loves you, who fears God, handsome, built, kind, caring, especially at this age, let me just put that in there, but has no money? I already know what Bunmi is going to say.
Who's gonna start?
Before everybody thinks I'm looking for cash. I mean, when you say no money, explain.
It's just what they said. They just said no money.
It depends on
I don't know.
I'll pass.
He's God-fearing, built, everything, but just got no douche. What
So
you
that means-
gonna do?
We can't
Huh?
go out.
Just say yes or no. Would you? It's not. There's no right or wrong answer. Yes or
It
no?
really depends.
No. Yes or no?
I would say yes if he has the prospects and I can just mold him into somebody
And
that
what if he's
That
what if
still
he's
means
having
no. If he
wait,
has
wait,
the
what if he's having prospects for the next 20 years? I'm joking.
No, but seriously.
I'm married and divorced.
I'm joking.
Oh Lord, seriously? Do you think
you
about
go.
that?
Honestly.
I'll try if everything's
I mean,
there.
yeah, you try. And if you don't see the prospect,
Yeah.
plus,
Yeah.
in like some
I got you
time.
this job. Don't you want to try? I got you this job. Don't you
Yeah.
want to try?
No,
I
that's
think
a
they keep
lazy
resisting
guy.
that
That's a
difference.
lazy
He has all
guy.
those values.
That's a lazy guy. You give at that age, okay, fine. The guy is not maybe buoyant at that moment.
Yeah.
You love this guy. You sing.
He
You sat
has
down
all
with
those
the
values. I mean,
Yes,
he
he
has
has
to
those
be a
values.
good person, a hardworking
But
person. So he might just
in that point, you help him out get something. Maybe you know that if he puts his best into it,
He's gonna flourish.
And
Yeah.
he's like, nah.
Okay, then you know that.
Then
it's
you
not
know
gonna
that this
work.
person,
Yeah. Okay.
because the signs are there.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Well, obviously, like I said, we could talk about that as well for ages, but we've actually run out of time. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope you're coming in sometime soon.
Yes.
Thank you. And of course, big shout out to Craft Gourmet, where we've been shooting our episodes. You guys are absolutely amazing. Great ambiance, great restaurant. Thank you so much. And if you guys want to get at us, all our social media handles. So you want Marry, my social media handle at Marcy Dolapo Uni, and send me an email. So you want Marry at gmail.com. And we will see you next time. Bye bye.